So what we're gonna do now is look at my February plan with me setup. I'm actually gonna start that by looking at or not even January, because January was just a gong show. So we're gonna go back and look at my plan with me stuff from December. And so here it is, all right? We have a whole bunch of content planning we did there. We migrated this stuff over. So this is like my week grid for December. And that was really it. So we migrated my week grid. I explained this in my December plan with me video, and I will show you that. And I migrated my content out, right? Mapped out my content for the month, which I didn't do and I'm not going to do for February. And that's because, and I can show you this, I'll show you a picture of it. Up on the wall behind me back there, I got a 6-foot by 3-foot New Year NEUYEAR calendar that I used Post-it notes to do my content planning on. So I am not doing it in this anymore. I kept looking at this, having to flip back and feeling like it just was too far away to really look at and do anything with. So I like being able to spin around, and I can tell you that this comes out on February 4th. The video after this should be my things review, which is planned for February 11th. And I can see content planned, at least ideas set up all the way through April. Yeah, all the way through April 15th. I have Post-it notes for content up there. That's nice to be able to look at that. And I have some other things like my birthday, my family birthdays, in-laws coming out, stuff like that. So some of the things I did really like is I did like this, right? Where a client where I tracked the hours I did, and I'm going to carry that through. I'm actually carrying that into the weeks. And so when I migrated into the next week, I just fill in the boxes from the previous week as well. And I'll show you that. And the habits, I stopped tracking basically as soon as I took work off. I stopped tracking. So I don't know. I'm actually not planning to continue that for this month because I don't know, didn't find it that useful ultimately. And it changed, especially with the K. So that was K, spending some time with my kids. I see I got lots of those. Sleep was not great, 7 hours or more of sleep. Reading I hit as well. So I don't know. I'm not planning at this point to continue that, although I really like the idea. And I got that from Matt Ragland. And books. I'm planning to make a short list of books as well. What did I get through? I got through Clarity. Yep, I got through Pleasure of Reading. Kids Are Worth It. And I read a couple other books as well. Instead, this is not like a hard, fast list, except for maybe this for the reading club. The rest of it is all just books that I'd like to read, books I'm interested in that I'm going to continue. And I'm going to keep working on maybe. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to actually start migrating February forward. Now this is actually January 28th. I'm going to leave a couple blank pages in my notebook so that I have that room for later. But now I'm going to migrate, like I said, all the stuff from the beginning of my notebook into February stuff. And then later, we're going to talk about the hybrid system I'm using, because I am not exclusively using a bullet journal right now. I'm using Things 3 as part of my setup because it just feels overwhelming right now. I'm going to put this out of the way. Let's start doing migration. So to start, that's it. That's where we're going to start with. We're going to start with, say, a month planned out. I have people I need to follow up with. I know there's a PAC meeting, Parent Activity Council, for my daughter's school. I got to bill some people on the 10th. That's when I bill them. Some other people to follow up with. Swimming lessons start, and I need to make sure that I check, because I think there's a holiday in the middle of these, so I need to make sure I check which lesson is canceled. More follow-up, more billing, because I do most of my billing on the 25th. And then I know that I have a read to lead book, although I don't remember the name right now. So that has to go in here. Kids Are Worth It, which I am reading actually kind of in the off hours in the evenings. And then I need to list my 3 other books that I want to read in the month, just so that I have a short list. Now that list I don't stick to. This is not like a hard, fast list of books that I have to read in a month, but it is a list that so I have it pre-picked. I don't have to like go do the searching later. So I'm going to fill that in later, and I don't know what books those are. Probably marketing related, because I'm working on the Freelancer's Guide to Marketing, to niche marketing, so that I keep pushing myself in that and have more content, more ideas coming through for niche marketing. So that's what I'm doing on this end. And now the next end is actually, the thing I didn't love, and I said about that, was the project planning portion. Wrong notebook. Let's pull this back out. So what I didn't love was, say, project planning, which is, I should have bookmarked this. This part right here. So this part, project planning, I just didn't find that useful. I never kept going back to it. I tried it. This was my second month trying it, and it still was not really useful. So that's what I'm going to use Things 3 for. I'm going to use Things 3, and I'm going to actually, I don't have this right now, for my routines, and I have a routine video quite a while ago for my routines and for my project planning, so I can plan the tasks in a GTD style so that I can keep track of those for myself. So let's take a look at Things. I'm going to pull that out right now. I can just give you a walkthrough of what I'm doing in it. It's really what many people are doing in it already. I don't think it's any special fancy setup. So let's bring up Things and start recording the screen at the same time. This is my Things. My inbox is blank right now. I know that I have 2 things today, which is my daily work shutdown and my daily house shutdown. I gotta admit, I hadn't used Things in a while, so this was a long list of things that I wasn't really looking at. Hadn't looked at it in quite a while. So yeah, I'll come back to that. I'm not going to come back to that. I've been liking Things. It's really good for many things, and it's good for just a basic tracker. The thing that I didn't love in it was because what I wanted to do in my notebook was that it didn't just give me a good step back overview like I have with that content calendar up there. That content calendar up on my wall gives me like a step back overview of like all of my content coming up. So like when I have shifted things around, when I realized my February planning content wouldn't actually necessarily come out till like March if I kept the schedule as it is, I just moved Post-it notes around and wrote a new one. Actually I have to cut them because I don't know, the sizing of Post-it notes sucks. But and I just switched it all around. It was really easy to do. That's something that I feel is lacking in Things as a task manager. It doesn't let me take a really big step back. Now it has the upcoming tab, and that's just a list, right? I'll show my calendar events. I'm gonna give it access to my calendar. So it's giving me some more idea of what's in my calendar, but it doesn't let me step back. Something I want to look at is called Sorted. Sorted has more time. I listened to this months and months ago now, and it already is on my list to look at. So I need to look at that. But it doesn't give me like a good month overview. It's just this long list. So it's harder to step back and say, what do I have going on this whole month? Now, part of that can be overcome with regular check-ins, but I don't know, past that. So this is what I'm going to use Things for. So what I did with Things this morning is I went through some of my clients, right? I have App Pressers, one of my clients. I need to do some content stuff for them. I actually didn't put that in the right. That's a content client. So I'll put that in my client writing, which I should probably change. I have some business admin stuff. I have follow-up. I plugged in some invoicing. And then I plugged in some... My dev clients have some projects in there, and I started using headings. I actually found headings useful. I wasn't that sure, and I'll have to see how I adjust my review coming out soon. I wasn't quite sure how to use headings or if it was really going to be useful for me, but I've been finding headings useful, at least in the last couple of days as I've done this, right? I have stuff for a client called ProvPubs, and then the PRI, have some more tasks in there. And I have a bunch of, the biggest thing is the client writing, right? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blog posts on the go, 3 of which they want build this month, which gives me 3 days to finish it. One of them's already done, one of them's partially done, and one of them, yeah. So we can do all this. I have an education area, I suppose, which I haven't even looked at recently, so I don't know. Used to have a big list of books, but I think we'll just drop that list of books right now. Complete project. Mark is completed. Because I'm going to do it in favor of that, I'm going to do the short list every month. And then any other content will go off to Instapaper that I want to read later. I also set up a Patreon project because I need to do weekly updates and monthly AMAs. I still need to figure out, I need to get I want an alert like a week before to remind me that it's happening. But again, this is where a good review comes in, and I take a look at the review to make sure that I have all the projects ready to go, right? And have expertise economy review. I kind of fallen off the wagon on doing book reviews, so I need to get back to that. I need to figure out how I'm going to sort those, how I'm going to do the podcast and everything, because it has been a whirlwind year so far, and it's the 28th of January. And so this is what I'm going to do. I'm splitting it up between the two, and I have a list of all the apps I want to review as well. All the different things I could look at and just dig through for doing YouTube content, for being productive with your iPad. So that's what I'm doing in February for planning with me. I'm doing my basic, I'll bring this back out. I'm doing my basic, connect back to my phone so I can see it. This is my overhead. Just I'm using the iPad with Filmic Pro remote to connect to my phone, which is the recording up here off this boom stand, and a camera and a boom mic. That's how I've got this all set up. So I can come back to this and I can look as I transfer into weeks, and I'm using the same week setup that I always have. I have for quite a while. See, that's this week right here, and I noticed I didn't transfer over the hours for Ronald, so I'll do that after. But I did that for, you can see I colored in some hours, and I colored in some more hours last week for Ronald. And I actually need to double check. And so I double check at the end of the month to make sure this is accurate, and I'm looking, for plus minus an hour is fine with me. But I've loved this. I've used this week planning schedule for a long time. I did it the same as I always do. You notice I'm supposed to be running right now. I ran super hard on the weekend, and my legs are toast, and I actually have birthday on February 4th, so I'm playing a big adventure then too. So I'm going to take this week a little off so that I have legs for next weekend or for Monday. I keep doing this, and I'm just kind of keeping track of some of the other little things I need to do in a week, right? I need to check AE coaching. I did that twice. Patreon AMA, and so I refer back to this throughout the week just to see what should I be doing in this block? What should I be doing on the next block, right? And that's even more important because my in-laws are out, and that's generally just means a week that isn't as productive because I'm hanging out with them, and that's not a bad thing. I like my in-laws, but it's just how it happens. So this lets me pick it up at any point and just look at my notebook and say, hey, this is what I should be doing right now without worrying about it. So as always, I'd love to see what you're doing, how you're organizing your days, how you're organizing your weeks, your months, everything like that. If you'd like to support this, if you enjoy the planning content I do, any of the other productivity content that I do, the being a dad content that I do, which I think is some of the most valuable stuff, how to be a good dad, because building a business, being productive without transferring some of this to home and doing good at home, you're wasting half your life. You're not doing well in part of your life. So if you want any more on that, you can support me at patreon.com/Curtis McHale. We have a link to that in the show notes, and it'll probably show up right here, right there. Yeah, enjoy. Let me know what you're doing. Let me know if you have any questions. If you want to see how I do anything else, how I organize my dev stuff, that'd be great. Have an awesome day.